So for the next one, we're going to use two different strategies for rewriting this. So the issue I have here is I have this 4 and I have this 2 to the x plus 1. Now the 4, you guys already know what to do. How are we going to change that? 2 squared. So this is really 2 to the 2x, okay? But this guy here, we're going to use the other thing up here. So this one, just to walk you through this property, if I have 2 to the 4th times 2 cubed, what does this equal to? 2 to the 7th. Everybody see that? If I have 2 to the 4 times 2 to the x, this is going to be equal to 2 to the, careful, 4 plus x. Remember, we're adding these two. Good? All right. So if I have 2 to the x times 2 to the 1, this is 2 to the x plus 1. All right, now imagine this though. Imagine I start here and I want to have 2 bases of 2. So you can go, this is equal, you can go either way. So now I'm starting here and I'm rewriting it like this. Everybody see that? Right, so that's this property here. Anytime you have a binomial for an exponent, you can rewrite it so that this would actually, after you do this, this would become 2 times 2 to the x. So down here, when we get this, this is really going to be minus 2 times 2 to the x plus 1 equals 0. All right, so at this point, a lot of you know we're going to let u equal 2 to the x. Now you could rewrite this if you needed to and say, oh, this is 2 to the x squared minus 2 times 2 to the x plus 1. You're more than welcome to do that for visual appearances. A lot of you don't need to do that. A lot of you will be like, oh, this is u squared minus 2u plus 1. Okay? What I do find is when you have the matching bases here, this is the part where everyone messes up. So it may be worthwhile to go through and write everything with parentheses, but that's totally up to you, and you'll know if you need to do that as you're going through the problems. All right, to factor this, this becomes what? U minus 1, u minus 1. So u equals 1. So then we have 2 to the x equals 1, and that means log base 2 of 1 equals x. What is log base 2 of 1? 0. Every time you take the log of 1, doesn't matter what the base is, the log of 1 is always 0. So we don't have an approximate answer here. We just have an exact one. Be careful for that. If you guys do not simplify and you have an exact answer, if you put this for the exact answer versus this, you will lose points. You need to know that the log of 1 is 0. All right, for the next one here, all right, we have a couple of extra things. First, we have this 2 that we want to deal with. What's the best way to handle that? We're going to multiply both sides by 2. What happens is then it cancels out here, and we're left with e to the x plus 25e to the negative x equals 10. Okay. So here it looks kind of funny because what's new here that we didn't have in any of the 3 problems? Well, the e is not so bad. What else is new? The negative x. Okay. So the strategy for getting rid of the negative x is to multiply to the same base to the positive x power. So what that's going to look like is we're going to have e to the x times e to the x plus 25e to the negative x times e to the x equals 10 times e to the x. So we had a binomial on the left-hand side, so it's like I'm distributing the e to the x, but we only have the one term on the right-hand side. So as long as you multiply everything, you're really just multiplying both sides by the same number. Now, when you have 2 bases, what do we do with the exponents again? When you have 2 of the same base, what do? You add them, right? What is x plus x, though? 2x. So x plus x is 2x. And then we have plus 25e. What is negative x plus x? Negative x plus x. 0. And then equals 10 times e to the x. All right, we're going to move everything to one side. So we get e to the 2x minus 10 e to the x. What is e to the 0? 1. What's 25 times 1? 25. What are we going to let u equal? E to the x. So what does this become? U squared minus 10u plus 25. So we get u minus 5. U minus 5 equals 0. So u equals 5, but what is u? E to the x. And now we change forms, so we get log base of, what is log base e? How can we rewrite that? ln. So natural log of 5. And this one's the easiest to type in because we have a natural log button. So that's 1.609. 1.609. Okay, so kind of going back through all these, you guys. In every single one of them, we are manipulating them in some way to make it look like a quadratic. The first one was the easiest because it already was similar to quadratic form. So then we just did u substitution. The second one, we incorporated changing a number like that perfect square so it was squared. The third one, we had to do the perfect square again, but we also had to split apart that binomial exponent so that we would have 2 times 2 to the x, right? And then the third one, to get rid of the negative, we had to multiply by the same base to the exponent so that we would get an e to the 0 to eliminate the negative exponent, okay? In the practice packet, it will be similar. The difference is some of them you will not be able to factor, and so that's why I wanted you guys to write this down so that you have that as a reference. So you do need to know how to use the quadratic formula.